Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bob Cheevers.
Yeah.
Thanks. And it's been a long time for me, too. What, 2 years maybe?
It's been 2 years almost.
And thank y'all for having me again, and it's always a joy to be here, and the cooking's always great, and the people are great, and it doesn't need to be a crowded room. You know, this is good. This is a living room. This is where we're living for a while, and I don't usually say this, but, you know, if there are any questions about stuff, because I've done some real interesting things, and having won an Emmy and toured with Johnny Cash, and I never bring those things up because I just don't think about it. They're just stuff that I did. And if you want to ask any questions about anything, that would be fine. Other than that, I'm going to play a brand new song first, which I wrote the other day, but I wrote it on my baritone, which is, if you don't know what a baritone guitar is, is it 4 extra frets? So the neck's longer, and the legs are longer. And it's a much deeper guitar. And it's got a bigger neck. I haven't played this song not on my baritone, and quiet over there. December 20th, I had a trigger finger fixed. It takes a song or two before my guitar playing, to me, sounds okay. So I just wanted to say that so you don't think that I really play this way. Sun rises on the righteous, sets on the fool. That's what they told us back in Sunday school. When I found the light that shines deep inside me, I became the man that I've grown up to be. Bird on a wire, singing in the twilight, looking down at the empire he oversees. Live life in our heartland, it's gonna be alright. Bird on a wire sings for you and me. From the top of this mountain I can see that river and the beautiful valley that it runs through. When I think about dreams I hope will last forever, I think about me and this love I have for you. Bird on a wire, singing in the twilight, looking down on the empire he oversees. Life on this heartland, yeah, it's gonna be alright. Bird on a wire sings for you and me. I hear the wind blow through the willow, I see the clouds in the sky. Is it just me that's moving, or time passing by? Bird on a wire, singing in the twilight, looking down at the empire he oversees. Life in our heartland is gonna be alright. Bird on a wire sings for you and me. Bird on a wire sings for you and me. That's that. I was going to ask you if you would rather I play songs from this new record, which we're just at the very end of making. It's what's called the mixing stage right now. Or the last record that was the most recent record 2 years ago that was out called Smoke and Mirrors. But I've made up my own mind. One of the interesting things about Smoke and Mirrors is that I won the 2011 Texas Music Award Singer-Songwriter of the Year. Thanks. And as a result, I decided to give my fans and friends a big album. So I made a double album, and that's what Smoke and Mirrors is. And I'm up for Singer-Songwriter of the Year and Album of the Year. the album of the year is the Smoke and Mirrors record this year. So we'll know September or March 22nd about that. So these are new songs that are on this new record, which is going to be called On Earth as It Is in Austin. There was a guy in England on my last tour, showed me his guitar. He was so excited, he opened the show and he said, I want to show you my guitar case. And it had a bumper sticker on it that said, On Earth as It Is in Austin. I was like, man, that is a song. Maybe I'll play that right now, since I'm not keeping track on anything. I had this dream about Willie and me singing Amazing Grace on the grand old Opry stage in that 100-year-old hallowed place. At the end of the song, we talked about the damage life on this planet is costing. We bowed our heads, prayed for grace here on earth as it is in Austin. Then we got on his bus, parked out back, made our way down to my hometown of Memphis. I showed him the house I grew up on. I showed him the house I grew up in, somewhere between Jesus and Elvis. He picked up his old guitar, played Love Me Tender, and I just sat there and listened. He said one day the King would bring peace on earth as it is in Austin. We crossed into Oklahoma, into Texas, just as the sun was going down. Stopped for some beers, a Mexican meal in this quiet little one-horse town. Just Willie and me, two old friends in that tiny cantina reminiscing. Then we wrote this song called One Day on Earth, Nowhere on Earth. That's the thing about playing new songs. No place on earth as it is in Austin. When I woke up, I could still hear the sound of Willie's voice in my head. I laid in my bed real still, thought about every word he had said. Even though it was only a dream that I had been lost in, made my life more worthwhile here on earth as it is in Austin. Even though it was only a dream that I had been lost in, made my life more worthwhile here on earth as it is in Austin. Oh, thanks. See, the thing about this thing is, it's all programmed with all of my songs in it, but if I change it up, then it's, my foot pedal doesn't go to the next song, so y'all are making it very difficult.
And we've been so involved in these decisions.
Yeah.
Yep, blame the other guy.
Speaking of blame, I loved every song that you played Dale.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back in the same time we were,
Especially, and that comment that you made, that's the way it is when it's like that. That's going to go somewhere. I grew up in Memphis, and I've written a lot about the Old South and Civil War. In fact, I have a double album called My Southern Heart, which has never been released. It's one of the Cheevers-Songs archive series, and there are 8 CDs. One of them is a double album, which is called My Southern Heart, and it's a lot of my Old South and Civil War songs. I've continued to write songs about the South, and this is a new one on this new record called Made in Mississippi. I don't know why. We were talking about writing songs, and you know they come for you when you got kind of nothing to do for a little while. Because I'm real busy, and I've been doing this 50 years, and I'm busier than I've ever been. And 8 or 10 hours a day, I'm on the computer doing the behind the scenes, not the glamorous work like I'm doing tonight. Like forgetting my words. The title Made in Mississippi came along to me, and I thought, what do? You just, I don't write these things. I just write them down for wherever they come from through the ether, and it's wonderful how these things develop and just become things that after they're written are a song. This is called Made in Mississippi. It goes just like this. Something's not in tune. I'm not going to stop now. Taste of Mississippi in my mouth. Nothing like a dusty old road down south. Sun going down on that double wide. Stars and bars on a flagpole outside. Rebel yell runs deep in this place, where the devil meets the Delta, face to face. Matches are made in heaven or hell. Will love fade? It's hard to tell. Looking at the way you look at me, I can see this match was made in Mississippi. Way down below the Mason-Dixon line, you and I open up a bottle of wine. Blacksmith working on a wagon wheel. Sharecropper attending to our cotton field. Walking on a levee with your Mississippi man, like Adam and Eve walking right through the promised land. Matches are made in heaven or hell. Will love fade? It's hard to tell. Looking at the way you look at me, I can see this match was made in Mississippi. Old Man River running right through our world. I'm living in a dream with my southern girl. Actually sharing some Corpus, but this is just a song. Robert E. Lee was a knight in chainmail. The ghost of Oklahoma in a long black veil. King of rock and roll, born down in Tupelo. Mississippi summer heat chain gang working slow. Matches are made in heaven or hell. Will love fade? Hard to tell. Looking at the way you look at me, I can see this match was made in Mississippi. Looking at the way you look at me, I can see this match was made in Mississippi. Down on the bayou, kudzu and collard greens, made in Mississippi. Made in Mississippi. Thanks. I lived in Nashville for 16 years and wrote for the country song market, which was tough for me because there's a lot of co-writing you have to do, going to a publishing office with a stranger or somebody you know and have a blank sheet of paper, and after sweating blood for a few hours, and usually you go to lunch, and while your guard is down, you're talking to each other. One person says something and the other one says, that's the idea for the song. We go back and write it in the afternoon. But this song, my publisher said, why did you write that? That was 1996 maybe, and it got recorded 2 years ago on that Smoke and Mirrors record. So that's why I wrote it. I don't have any kids, but it must be like having kids. Like, why did I have that kid?
Except you never get the answer, oh, that's why.
Yeah. Days in Death Valley is the name of the song, and it's just got a lot of images in it. Dale is a super image guy, and George Inslee also is. Your songs are really different from George's, although I noticed in one of them you mentioned the wire, barbed wire, he's got a song called Billy's Farm.
Billy Bob's back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. None of which has anything to do with this song. Other than, why did you write it, Bob? I wrote it to play for these people. Wild horses run free through the canyon. Thick walls of granite crawl to the sky. Stallions lead mares up the mountain. Sound of their echoes take forever to die. Buffalo search the prairie for water. The mighty Red River has long been bone dry. Bald eagles soar over the tree line. Far down below, a stagecoach rolls by. Days in Death Valley are so slow to end. Sundown, the shadows take over again. Stars line the ridges. The moon dance begins on the desert as nightfall descends. Days in Death Valley are a memory by then. Nothing like Nashville. Passengers wake up at sunrise, climb back on board for another day's ride. The gold rush consumed California in the year of our Lord, 1849. The midday sun offers no quarter. Feels like an oven baked right to the core. Darkness brings a whole lot of heaven to the one sound asleep on the cool desert floor. Days in Death Valley are so slow to end. Sundown, the shadows take over again. Stars lie on the ridges, the moon dance begins on the desert as nightfall descends. Days in Death Valley are a memory by then. Wild West is a vision for those who cross the plain. This desert is a prison for those who swallow wagon trains. Days in Death Valley are so slow to end. Sundown, the shadows take over again. Stars lie on the ridges, the moon dance begins on the desert as nightfall descends. Days in Death Valley are a memory by then. Days in Death Valley are a memory by then. Days in Death Valley. Days in Death Valley. Thanks. We're organizing the sequence of this new record. Sharon and I have been together for about 4 years. We've been engaged about 6 months. And one thing I told her when we first got together, which I probably should never have said, I've said a number of those things, was that you can pretty much do anything, but you really need to just stay out of my art. And I said it in a very diplomatic way, like, stay out of my art. And of course, now some of the songs are about her, and she's got great music taste, and she knows a whole lot more about music than any woman I've ever been with. And so she said the other day, I am going to get some say in what the sequence is, aren't I? And I said, well, of course, sweetheart. And one of my therapists back in the middle 80s said, I've been married twice, and he's my second marriage, and he said, you just hadn't learned yet to say yes to your wife, have you? And I said, no. Because guys, how the wife or the little lady or the ball and chain says something about the toothpaste or the toilet seat, you're just going to not stand for it. You're going to speak up, and I'm not doing that now. And it's been the most peaceful and calm marriage of this that I'm going to have when we get married. My first wife and I are still dearest of friends, and she came down to visit Sharon and me for a week when I had my 70th birthday, November 11th. And her brother is a fine jeweler, and he's making us the engagement ring, and we each gave him a bunch of our jewels, and he's putting them together. But she said today, Sharon did, because we just got the final mixes back yesterday, she listened to them and said she thinks this song should be the first song. So I'll play this, then I'll play the one that I suggest to be the first song, and she liked that idea. No, I'll play this one.
And then we'll tell you.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. And the deal is that all these songs are very different, and I think somehow, in theory, you're supposed to put on at least the first several songs are just supposed to be killers, and grab your attention, and then you're in it, and you listen, and I don't know whether that theory is right or not, but this is one of my favorite songs that I've ever written, and I don't know why, and it's weird, and it's got a great beat and all that. Called One More Nail. I got bit by a rattlesnake and lived to tell Stung by a scorpion and it hurt like hell. Hit my beer bottle when I was playing show. I got a knife in my back 'cause I was moving too slow. This block keeps getting bigger every time I run around it, around it. Better pull the trigger of my own promise to slow down. Put this 9-pound hammer right back down on the ground where I found it, found it. Walking this tightrope, I end up way too often putting one more nail in my coffin. Bought a brand new Thunderbird in 1956. Had a flat tire, I didn't even try to fix it. Drank a bottle of tequila somewhere in New Mexico with a woman named Scarlett that I didn't even know. We caught a ride with an 18-wheeler on the Mojave Desert, desert. He had a pound of weed, some pills, and an 8-track stereo. He chain smoked Marlboros, played Let It Bleed by the Rolling Stones over and over and over and over and over and over. I was blinded by those little white lines that I'd been crossing, putting one more nail in my coffin. 6 a.m., sunrise, Las Vegas. Woke up in the Starlight Motel with that woman by my side. Hangover lasted me about a week. I could hardly move, couldn't even speak. Thought about taking my own life, decided to let that idea slide, let it slide. I rented a car, hit the road, never looked back. $100 bill on her bed, and that was that. Nobody I know cares where I am, and frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna get me a place on a beach somewhere down in Mexico, far out of reach of that life I used to know. Find me a preacher, confess my sin, just let that river flow. Do the best I can to keep from putting one more nail in my coffin. Make amends with myself, do the best I can to keep from putting one more nail in my coffin. One more nail. One more nail. Strange song. Very strange song, I think. What was I going to sing? Oh, the one that, oh, here it is. Sound of a Door. This is an old song. People make records. Often they record 15 or 20 songs and then choose the best 10 or 12 or whatever. And I just decided, I went through a writing streak and wrote about 35 songs in a couple of months and decided on these 15 songs. And this is one of them. Actually, this is one that was written a long time ago. Sound of a Door. So imagine this, you put the needle on the record and this is what you hear. Needle on the record. What I thought I heard was the sound of a door closing. I was thinking, how many times before I'd been mistaken when in fact it was swinging open. Sometimes I get confused by the sound of a door. I was certain this was the end of the line. The love I wanted was no longer mine. I was sure all I'd get was a lifetime of regret. I just knew you were gone this time. What I thought I heard was the sound of a door closing. I was certain, I was thinking, how many times before I'd been mistaken, when in fact it was swinging open. Sometimes I get confused by the sound of a door. I got to thinking how much of this stuff was mine. I started blaming myself for being so blind. Then you came walking in and forgave me once again. Only love could ever be that kind. What I thought I heard was the sound of a door closing. I was thinking, how many times before I'd been mistaken, when in fact it was swinging open. Sometimes I get confused by the sound of a door. Sometimes I get confused by the sound of a door.
That's awesome. I love it.
Thanks. I think that's the way I'd like it to go, and then because you can set it up, and then do something like this. So it'd be this song first, and then that one, and then maybe this one. I used to go into town on Saturday night, get blinded by those big city lights, make a fool of myself in so many ways. As a young man, I'd climb in that chute, pick that bull with the heel of my boot, fire in my saddle, spike in my veins. This is not my first rodeo. Everybody knows I've been around the block a time or two. This is not my first rodeo, but it took someone like you to show me what I needed to know, then to let me reap what I sowed. You took me where I wanted to go. Since my first rodeo. This is about my sweetheart. If she ever wondered, by the time I got to where I am in my life, it's probably a story I shouldn't tell. Well, you guys have been married a long time. Who was married 79 years? Or man.
Warren's parents.
I talked to a therapist of mine, and it's not like I think of therapy like going to the gym and working out. It's mental therapy. But then we talked about the fact that I had girlfriends, over the years. And 2 wives, and he said that that's okay. You know, it's I'm not explaining this, excusing myself here, by the way. It's just interesting that some people meet somebody and they stay together, which I've done now. I say this, I said that 2 other times before, but you never know. And what Dale was singing about, the pencil sharpener. And also Sharon and I met online, by the way. It started out that way, and then it's grown into something much, much deeper. Something happens when you make a record, or at least for me and a lot of the people I know who make records. You get in record-making mode, and that's a different mode than performing. So mentally, my mind is so full of stuff that I can't remember anything, and this is not helping me right now. And
Remember how to use it.
And another thing is I stopped drinking a lot a couple of months ago, and I love it. And Sharon said the other day that the other night when I played it. Yeah, I'm not. Thank you. Interestingly, though, I loved the taste of beer, and I wasn't. Mr. Therapist, I wasn't drinking to forget things. I was drinking to enjoy the beer and have fun. But that's a whole other story. But we did this radio show interview, and it was a long one. And she said, "I don't think I've ever seen you so in touch with your stories," which I often don't finish, or they go off and drift off into somewhere else. It's usually because I was going to say plastered, but that wouldn't be me. But this song, probably none of you have taken LSD, but I have, and I wrote this song on LSD, just so you'll know. So, but it's interesting as a song and as a story, and boy, I cannot not claim that I wrote this. You all will hear something in here, many things in here that you can identify with. I'm an old soul, that's what I've been told. I was at Stonehenge on the Dawn Patrol. I've seen the sunrise each generation. I've known the icons of civilization. I wrote it all on a Dead Sea Scroll. Then I watched it fall through a black hole. I've seen history unfold. I'm an old soul. I'm a real old soul. I grabbed the apple right out of Eve's hand, took a big bite just the way it was planned. Then the face of the devil looked me in the eye and she said, "You have fulfilled what I've prophesied." The earth stood still, it was freezing cold. There were bolts of lightning and the thunder rolled. But the angels had hold of an old soul. I led the charge of the Light Brigade. I've been a hero, I've been a slave. I was a pharaoh and a voodoo priest. Hey, I knew Columbus and the Prince of Peace. You could say I've been through few incarnations, a time traveler with new information, all about my triumphs and my tribulations. of living through this wild situation in a world where truth has no control and the fountain of youth is just a big sinkhole where time takes its toll on an old soul. I am the builder of 4 rocket ships, one for each horseman of the apocalypse. I was old King Cole and the Queen of the Nile. I'm an old soul, the body of a child. I'm a real old soul. I'm a real old soul. I'm an old soul. So where does that stuff come from? Anybody got any ideas about that? I mean, I haven't been all those things, and it feels like I've been all those things, but making that stuff up, this is a rhetorical question. Where in the mind does the images like that come from?
I'm not sure they come from your mind.
That's exactly right. Or maybe it was just a bad day and
No, it's a good day. You gotta
good day.
That's right.
Amen. Let's see. Any other requests? I got tons of stuff to play here, but
What is it it says on your website about your stories?
I don't know if they're true, but they happen to me.
Yeah. I love it. I think that's classic.
What about your going to rain?
Yeah, look at
Oh yeah,
Can you tell us about your Emmy?
sure.
And also about your time in Europe too.
That's good. That's a couple of good things to talk about. Let me get located here. What was that first song you asked about?
Rain.
Oh, Ever Gonna Rain, yeah. Is it ever gonna rain? Well, this was, maybe 4 or 5 years ago when it hadn't rained here for so long. Do you know Karen Mall? Have you guys?
Oh yeah.
Mandolin.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. There's the mandolin, too. But I had seen her, and we were old friends, and I had seen her before, but one night we were doing a concert, and she and somebody were playing, and I was playing after them, and I was looking at her, and I had never seen her look like that. And I asked her to play a song with me, which I should play also. You remember, did I play, Plans to Meet in Paris when I was here last? Because one of Dale's chords sounded, or it was the same chord. Anyway, I'm getting off the track. So I saw Karen.
I don't think you did.
I couldn't speak. She was so gorgeous. And so I wrote the song about her, and I loved it. It was a very esoteric lyric, and I couldn't bring myself to say what I really felt about her. So I made up this really wild story. When I tried to put music to it, it sounded like all my other songs. So I asked George Inslee if he'd help me with it, if he'd just write some music, and he said, well, I'd love to. And so he took it home, and I gave him the lyric, and he called back a couple of days later, and he said, would you mind if I kind of putzed a little with the characters in here? And I said, no, that's all right. And he said, I think maybe they could use a little development. And in my story that I had written, they certainly could, because they were very opaque and vague, and I meant it that way. But he brought it back, and it was like, what? This is not the lyric at all. It was completely different. So we decided that on our way to Folk Alliance, it was in Memphis that year, and it was February, and a guy named Tim Henderson and George and I drove we called it the Snake Mobile. It's a 22-foot Winnebago, my tour bus. Found a 6-foot snakeskin in it and called it the Snake Mobile. But I let Tim drive while George and I sat in the back, and it was probably 15 degrees. We were huddled up in blankets, and it took us about 16 hours to get to Memphis, maybe 20 hours drive with Tim driving. But we made this song up and made it right. George is the most meticulous writer I've ever known. It's not down to the chorus or the verse. It's down to the letter, in the word. I love this song. It's called Is It Ever Gonna Rain? My fields are dry as a bone. This old farm looks cursed. My creek is sun-baked stone. My crops are dying of thirst. Hey, I'm waiting on salvation, standing lonely in the wind, like some old fool I know who let pride get the best of him. Is it ever gonna rain? Will that dry spell ever end? Will the heavens ever open and fill my well again? Is it ever gonna rain? Will the harvest ever come? Is it too late to be saved? Is it ever gonna rain? Hey, I think I'll drive on into town, find the courage and maybe tell her I was wrong. Ask her one more chance, pray she'll come back home. She knows I need her love washing over me, way I need the rain falling softly on my fields. Is it ever gonna rain? Will this dry spell ever end, ever end? Will the heavens ever open, fill my well again? Is it ever gonna rain? Will the harvest ever come? Is it too late to be saved? Is it ever gonna rain? The days are hot, the nights are long, time goes slipping through my hands. I can't make it on my own. Lord, have mercy on this land and this man. Is it ever gonna rain? Will this dry spell ever end? Will the heavens ever open, fill my well again? Is it ever gonna rain? Will the harvest ever come? Is it too late to be saved? Is it ever gonna rain? Is it ever gonna rain? Will it ever rain? George Inslee and me. Thank you. I love that song. I thought about you, Randy, when I thought about doing this song. This is a real cool little idea. I don't think I've ever played this. There's a man named Jesus who lives down the street. Dirty clothes, old-fashioned shoes on his feet. He drinks a lot of beer, seems stoned all the time. This man named Jesus, he's a friend of mine. Man named Jesus, he's a friend of mine. Oh, Jesus wouldn't mind being your friend too. He's a man of his word, and he'll be there for you. He'll lend you a hand while he walks by your side, help you across that river so deep and so wide. There's a man named Jesus who lives down the street. His words ring so true and his voice sounds so sweet. He stands up for the weak, the deaf and the blind. This man named Jesus, he's a friend of mine. This man named Jesus, he's a friend of mine. Can any of you ever imagine why this song would remind me of Randy? And not because he reminds me of Jesus, because he's a great guy. Now, when he talks about religion, he speaks straight from the heart. He says Christians and pagans, why, I can't tell them apart. When you peel back that onion right down to the soul, it's a true loving spirit that makes a man whole. There's a man named Jesus who lives down the street. His voice rings so true and his words sound so sweet. He stands up for the weak, the deaf and the blind. This man named Jesus, he is a friend of mine. This man named Jesus, he's a friend of mine. Now and then, like him, I feel misunderstood. Doesn't everybody? I want to do things that are all for the good, but sometimes mankind, my intentions get lost. I feel like I'm hanging up here on this cross. There's a man named Jesus who lived down the street. His voice rings so true, his words sound so sweet. He stands up for the weak, the deaf and the blind. There's a man named Jesus, he's a friend of mine. This man named Jesus, he's a friend of mine. He's just a man named Jesus. You don't walk on water or change water to wine. He's just a man named Jesus, and he's a friend of mine. Thanks. 50 years. This hadn't happened yet, but it's still possible that I could get sued by Paul McCartney, which would do wonders for my career.
You still got your
We'll keep our fingers
vocalizer
crossed.
on that.
This is one of those finger pickings. Father Mackenzie and Eleanor Rigby wiping the dirt from their hands at the grave, standing together, quoting from scripture, there in the chapel, each other to save. Where do these two lonely people come from? Where do these two lonely people belong? Father Mackenzie, awaiting the rapture, a man of the cloth, friend of the poor. Eleanor lives in his parish, a spinster, night after night, slipping in his back door. She had no one to talk with but him, both aware of the ways and the wages of sin. Two people looking for love, looking for light from above. Eleanor Rigby lived in the dream, someday she'd be married with kids. Years went by, she wondered why her life turned out like it did. Father Mackenzie did all he could do to console two lonely people losing all control. Two people dying for love, looking for light from above. There'd be a beautiful instrumental in here. Father Mackenzie and Eleanor Rigby found peace in each other's arms, kneeling each day, praying as they stood still in the eye of the storm, questioning faith that once was all they had known. Lighting a candle, they walked through the graveyard alone. Two people living for love, looking for light from above. Father Mackenzie and Eleanor Rigby, two lonely people. Look at all the lonely people. Very strange. When I moved to Texas 6.5 years ago, Tim Henderson, do you know Tim? You probably do.
I know of him, but he hasn't been here.
He took me out to Lukenbach. It's the only time I've been there twice, but you all have surely been there, but it's just nothing. It's just these 7 buildings, and you go out there and there's 300 bikers, and cheeseburgers and lots of music, and it's a famous place. So on the way home, I made up this song, and I'm sure 500 people have written a song about Lukenbach. Down at the end of an old country road, there's a place where you can lighten your load. Just hang around and drink a Lone Star beer. There's not a better place to be down here. It's like a town in some old picture show, a cool oasis where banditos go, familiar faces where time moves slow. The sound of music makes you tap your toes. That's what I love about Lukenbach. People come to hang around and talk. They get to swagger in the way they walk. That's what I love about Lukenbach. Nobody's bothered by hands on a clock. Front porch old folks and armchairs rock. Windows open, doors unlocked. That's what I love about Lukenbach. I used to drink Shinerbach or Ziegenbach or whatever. I spent a month here on a Sunday afternoon, wound up howling at the Texas moon, watching the sunrise with my beautiful girl. There's not a better place to be in this world. The human race had a long way to go. And just in case you wonder how I know, I've been to Lukenbach in early spring. Hey, it's paradise, folks. It's a real thing. That's what I love about Lukenbach. People come to hang around and talk. They get to swagger in the way they walk. That's what I love about Lukenbach. Nobody's bothered by hands on a clock. Front porch old folks and armchairs rock. Windows open and doors unlocked. That's what I love about Lukenbach. Windows open and doors unlocked. That's what I love about. That's what I love about. That's what I love about Lukenbach. Lukenbach, Alabama. No. Lukenbach, Michigan. And Lukenbach, Texas. Lukenbach, Texas. Thanks. I get this song I want to play for you that another guy wrote that has turned into one of my favorite songs. It's called Elephant. You ever heard of a guy named Jason Isbell? He was in a group called Drive-By Truckers, and now he's not because he's...
Is he dead too?
Your legs are going to get shorter, like you're... Like when you tell a lie. Or was that you that said that? It might have been Helen. Sorry.
Hanging up on
This is about death, though, come to think of it. And I've just never heard death put in a more, I don't even know how to say it. But this is something all of us have, this is something that's touched all of us, I'm sure. She said, Andy, you're better than your past. Winked at me and drained her glass. Cross-legged on a bar stool like nobody sits anymore. She said, Andy, you're taking me home. But I knew that she would sleep alone. I'd carry her to bed and sweep up the hair from her floor. If I'd made her before she got sick, I'd never hear the end of it. She don't have the spirit for that now. We drink these drinks and laugh out loud, bitch about the weekend crowd, try to ignore the elephant somehow. Somehow. in a coffee cup. Sharecropper eyes and her hair are almost all gone. When she was drunk, she'd make cancer jokes, made up her own doctor's notes. Surrounded by her family, I could see that she was dying alone. Hey, I sing her classic country songs. She get high, sing along. She don't have a voice to sing with now. We burn these joints in effigy, cry about what used to be, try to ignore the elephant somehow. I burn her earth. No, that's not it. I've buried her 1,000 times, giving up my place in line. I don't give a damn about that now. There's one thing that's real clear to me: no one dies with dignity. We just try to ignore the elephant somehow. We just try to ignore the elephant somehow. 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 Sharon said I need to pick my places to sing this song. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. Anyway, so much for Jason Isbell. This poem was written in about 1974. At least what turned into this song. The first part of it was a poem. Then it turned into this little song. It's called My Guitar, the Man in the Moon, and My Heart. This is also for my sweetheart. On this new record. My guitar wants to be a tree again, be part of the earth, in tune with the wind. No strings on its neck that cry when they bend. My guitar wants to be a tree again. Hey, the man in the moon, he's on my side. Sometimes he'll find a cloud and he'll hide. Then he wraps me up in his light and we ride. Yeah, the man in the moon, he's on my side. Ooh, my heart wants to feel before it dies. Feel so much, it brings tears to my eyes. To fly like an eagle high in the sky. My heart wants to feel before it dies. When the sun goes down, there we are. The man in the moon, me and my guitar, playing a song about just how far I'd have to go to win your heart. Oh, Hey, I play for you. The moon shines its light. We both want to hold you each and every night. Now this is my story, and I played every part. My guitar, the man in the moon, and my heart. Yeah, this is my story, and I've played every part. My guitar, the man in the moon, and my heart. Interesting little song. Thank you. So, this Emmy thing, Elvis was going to record a song of mine called Big City Gambler before it was on the short list of his songs to do before he died, and then he died. Just think if Elvis had done one of my songs. Wow.
You wouldn't be here.
Well, you never know.
I think he would be.
Yeah, probably so. I'm glad. I'll tell you, I'm glad to be here. And I've been through a lot of stuff in my life that I could have destroyed my life doing or going through, but I didn't. So there's a reason for that, and part of it's to be here. So Elvis died, didn't do the song, so I did it. I put it on a record, and then we made a music video out of it, and it won 6 Emmys. And mine, the one that I won, was for Best Historical Song of 1986, I think. And it also won for lighting and set direction and 3 other things. I forget what they are. But that was really cool. And for 13 years, I've been doing tours of Europe, and fascinating to go to other countries and hear the way they respond to my music, because I've been at this 50 years and I've had some successes, and I'm really grateful for them. And it's like anything you do in life, you don't know what's going to happen, and just because you work real hard and get real good at what you do, that's just what happens. You work real hard and you get real good at what you do. There's a wonderful saying that expectations are premature disappointments, and it's hard to live by that, because you want your work and your life to be good and good things to come from it, but and wonderful things. I've just had the best year of my life, and turning 70 was part of it. And I'm proud to be able to say that. And so many great things happened during this last year. But these Europe things, Europe has so much more respect for art and artists, whereas in America, usually the first things that's cut in schools is the arts. And arts generally in America aren't held up, and certainly and rock and roll did a lot to destroy that image of what art's about. And it's, as I said, throwing televisions out the windows of hotels isn't a way to get art to have a good name. I never did that. The thing about those Europe tours is I get to do that every year and do anywhere between 25 and 60 shows, and it's a grind, and it's a younger man's game, but it's also exhilarating. And I have a song called Underpants, and when I'd play it over there, they were ready. The girls were ready, and it's become a cult song. And sometimes they'd want to know what the set list was, so they could either go in the bathroom and take them off, or just take them off right there in front of me, which was real weird to have these things flying at me, and I would keep them till the end of the tour, and then go through customs with them. But I met a girl over there, and a beautiful young English lady, and she is a painter in London, and I was doing this concert, and she did a drawing of me, a sketch, and gave it to me after the show, and I gave her a CD, and we became friends. And over the next few months, I wrote 40 poems and 16 songs about her. It turned into this record called Plans to Meet in Paris, which is, I think, my favorite album that I've done. It's my 10th record. But it's a beginning and a middle and an ending of a love story that went on for about a year and a half. She was 5,000 miles away and 34 years younger than me. Just didn't seem like it was going to work out. But we're still great friends. And so she and her art group went to Paris to tour the art museums, and I made up this song about that. And I got to thinking, well, I can do that. I got money. I can go to Paris and meet her and make this song come true. So I did, and it's called "Plans to Meet in Paris." That's the chord I was telling you about, Dale. You still here?
Oh, yeah.
Was it that America song? Was that or no? It was the one that you were.
That was a song with no words.
Yeah, right. I don't play it that good though. We've made plans to meet in Paris, spend our nights together, get to know each other better. Until now it's been by letter. We've kept this love together, and we've learned to care and cherish. Now we feel so close together. We've made plans to meet in Paris. We've made plans, meet in Paris, stand atop the Eiffel Tower, and like all the other lovers, celebrate the midnight hour in a small sidewalk cafe, drinking champagne from a chalice, walk along the Champs-Élysées. We've made plans meet in Paris. So just imagine. I will fill our room with flowers, open all the hotel windows so the moon can cast its shadow, dance across the wall. We will lay there in her silver light, our head on soft silk pillows. We'll make sweet love all night until slumber comes to call. We've made plans to meet in Paris, stand atop the Eiffel Tower, like all the other lovers, celebrate the midnight hour at a small sidewalk cafe, drinking champagne from a chalice, walk along Champs-Élysées. We've made plans to meet in Paris. We've made plans to meet in Paris. Oh, thanks. I wanted to play that because I don't play that in front of Sharon anymore. She met me last year in Paris or in London. Sharon did on my birthday. She got to meet Fiona. Fiona's the girl, and the CD's called Fiona's World. Just in case you're looking for CDs that are about love songs about a woman from England that I don't sing anymore. You'll never hear them anywhere else. And this song is about a woman in Austin who was Ray Benson's girlfriend. What do you do? I mean, that's what I do. Is I used to be able to say I go out with beautiful women and write songs about them. That sounds so chauvinistic or sexist or something. That's when I was drinking a lot, though. She was a TV show personality, and I did her TV show a number of times, and we became friends. And I made up the song about her, and oddly, this also has come true. The part about, well, you'll hear it. It's called "Girl on the Early News," because she wasn't actually a newscaster, but in my song she is. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a world all by myself on these, just singing these songs. She's the evening anchor on the early news. Homegrown girl with a crooked smile. I'm in a band that plays Texas blues. I see her at the station once in a while. I work in the office. I sell airtime to Walmart, Firestone. Hey, I do my job and I go home at night to my house where I live alone. I get a cold beer, turn on my TV. Hey, I watch a show religiously. In my little world, the only way to lose these Texas blues is dreaming of the girl on the early news. Early news. In her pretty little head, she doesn't think about me. Her sights are set on some network show. CBS, ABC, maybe even cable TV. Who knows? Hey, it don't really matter. You see, she's just ready to go. She's a shining star in her own hometown, but her heart left long ago. High school queen with her head in the clouds, but at night when I go home, I get a cold beer, turn on my TV. Hey, I watch her show religiously. In my little world, the only way to lose these Texas blues is dreaming of the girl on the early news. Hey, ooh, oh. For guys like me, the blues live on in B.B. King, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I paid my dues. I found my muse in that dark-eyed girl on the early news. I get a cold beer, I turn on my TV. Hey, I watch your show religiously, really. In my little world, the only way to lose these Texas blues is dreaming of the girl on the early news. Hey, I'm dreaming of the girl on the early news. Yeah, I'm dreaming of the girl on the early news. Ooh. Thank you. Another song that Dale played that reminded me of a song. That's it. I was getting my vitamin C out of the pantry one day, and it said Rose Hips, and I thought, there's an idea for a song. Too risque, that's it. There we go. tell you now. Moonlight, something happens in the moonlight. It can turn a dark night into silver and gold. You might blame it on the moonlight, but she makes me feel like I'll never grow old. Young girls, rose hips, I call my baby rose hips. Her cheeks could sink 1,000 ships. They're like a double moon eclipse. The honey from her sweet lips making me do backflips. She just loves it when my hand slips down around her rose hips. Boom, 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 be-doo-doo. Blue eyes, there's something about those blue eyes. When I hear her soft sighs, my bell gets rung. Look out. Woo! Her advice, hold on real tight, babe. She'll make me feel like I'm forever young. Rose hips, I call my baby rose hips. Her cheeks could sink 1,000 ships. They're just like a double moon eclipse, imagine that. The honey from her sweet lips making me do backflips. She just loves it when my hand slips down around her rose hips. Yeah, I always bring her flowers just so she knows how much I love my American beauty rose. Rose hips, call my baby rose hips. Her cheeks could sink 1,000 ships. They're like a double moon eclipse. Honey from her sweet lips making me do backflips. She just loves it when my hand slips down around her rose hips. She just loves it when my hand slips down around her rose hips. Be-doo-doo. Boom, 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 boom. Never can play that chord right. Sort of a Beatle chord. Thanks. Texas is an only child. I play it around Texas, and I often get standing ovations. Play it anywhere else, nobody cares. But in Texas, so George Inslee and I had written the second verse had stuff about Kennedy and about the Branch Davidians, and George said, "Man, you don't want to sing that." I said, "Why? It happened." And he said, "Yeah, but we're tired of hearing about it." I said, "I don't care. It happened." So I finally acquiesced and put a different verse in it, which I like much better. And thank you all again. I'll make this my last song, and it's been a joy being here. Thank you all for coming. That's about all I got to say, except for this. There's a stretch of open highway called I-35. Takes you straight through Dallas if you manage to survive. The small town state troopers who drive that interstate, clocking 18-wheelers and checking them for weight. The hurricanes hit the Gulf Coast, part of Galveston disappeared. T-shirts saying, "Keep Austin weird." Texas is an only child, a real lone star, but you can be her friend, no matter who you are. The Alamo still stands, a river running wild. The great state of Texas is an only child, just like me, only child. Remember Santa Ana? his pants down to his knees, with a yellow rose of Texas, doing all she could to please. Towns with names like Waco, towns who found his fame, singing about banditos, Pancho and Lefty were their names. Davy Crockett, Hoodoo Wars, Tales of Texas Gold. Then came Buddy Holly, yeah, and the rest is rock and roll. Texas is an only child, a real lone star, but you can be her friend, no matter who you are. The Alamo still stands, her river's running wild. The great state of Texas is an only child. Lone Star Independence, alive and well today. Life is bigger here, just like people say. The sound of the degueo turned young boys into men. Longhorn, the goal line of Texas A&M. Willie's on his tour bus and he's rolling up a joint. He could get his hair cut, but what would be the point? Faded red bandana, beat up old guitar, singing Whiskey River while Kinky smokes cigars. Legends from El Paso to the Louisiana line. Forget the days of Georgia on my mind. Texas is an only child, a real lone star, but you can be her friend, no matter who you are. The Alamo still stands, her river's running wild. The great state of Texas is an only child. The great state of Texas is an only child. The great state of Texas is an only child. Oh, Texas music. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you so much, y'all.